Hi everybody. Today we're going to be starting up the 2018 MCAS. This is the last of the first generation MCASs that they did. This is the last one they did before they converted to the current online only model. So it's interesting to see how different it is. It's not so different from the previous, the ones that preceded it. You look at most of the MCAS up until this year, they followed a general pattern, and this one's no different, and you'll see. But it is really interesting if you do this MCAS and you immediately try the 2019 practice test they released, and then the two subsequent online-only versions, which are all available. Playlists for those are on this channel too, so you can check those out. I just think it's interesting. Anyway, there's a digital version. There's a PDF, a downloadable PDF in the video description, so you can print this out and try these. I do think there's value. If you're preparing for the MCAS, though, I wouldn't do these yet. If you haven't done the practice test and the two actual live releases, both the 2019 live release and the 2021 live release, I wouldn't do these yet. Do those first and then go back to the older ones because there's much more value in the others. Although there is value in these, the others are a little more relevant just because of the format of the questions. Okay, so let's get right to it. The idea, by the way, is that you've done this already and you're checking your work. Don't watch this unless you've already tried it, obviously. All right, let's go right to it. So this is the non-calculator section, so let's go. We have which of the following equations is true? So you'll notice that the left-hand side for all of these is the same. There's no difference. The only difference is over here. So, in my opinion, the best way to try this is just do all these out. Now, there's not a lot of room here, but you can kind of cheat, or if you have scrap paper, you can use that. I would recommend using scrap paper. So order of operations tells us we should do the work inside the parentheses first. So this is 7 times 2, which is 14. And then 3 plus 14 is 17. Okay. Now we have to figure out what this is. This is going to be the same for all of them. So 2 plus 3 is 5. And 5 times 7 is 35. So these are all 35. So we're looking for one of these to equal 35. So 17 is not 35. So A is out. All right. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 7 is 13. So 6 plus 7 is 13. 13 is not 35. Okay. 2 plus 7 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 is not 35, so it has to be D unless we made a mistake. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 times 7 is 35. Yep, they're both equal. D is the correct answer. So this is just an order of operations problem. I guess that's really it. Order of operations. Oh yes, the cube root. Okay, so which of the following is closest to the value of the expression below? All right, so this is not a perfect cube, but there's one real easy way to solve this. Now it says the cube root of 120. So it's whatever number, 3 times is going to be that number. So times itself 3 times. So if we do 4 times 4 times 4, 5 times 5 times 5, 9 times 9 times 9, and 11 times 11 times 11, we should get one of these should be really close to 120. So let's try that. So 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 32, 64, I think. Yeah, 64. So that's not very close to 120, so that's out. So 5 times 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. That's going to be our answer. It's really close. Let's just try 9, see where it goes. 9 times 9 times 9. So 81. And 81 times 9 is going to be 729, so it's definitely too far, so B is our answer. So, if you can multiply 5 times 5 times 5, you should get this right. It really comes down to, do you know what a cube root is, right, as opposed to a square root? And I remember this problem actually gave students across the Commonwealth some issues, because I remember when we went over these answers years ago. It wasn't that long ago, but it feels like it was a long time ago. All right. A container of soup is in the shape of a right circular cylinder. The container and its dimensions are shown below. We have this 8 centimeters, this 10 centimeters. So this is our height. This is our diameter, because it's the length across. They give us now they don't tell us this diameter. We have to assume this diameter. What is the volume in cubic centimeters of the container? So the volume of a right circular cylinder, this formula would be available to you. The reference sheet would be pi r squared h, which is basically an area of circles stacked, essentially. We don't know what radius is, but we know what diameter is. And we know the radius is half the diameter, so our radius is going to be 4. Okay, 4 centimeters. All right, so pi times 4 squared times 10. 4 squared is 16, and 16 times 10 is 160. It's 160 pi, which should be right here. So part of this problem is really asking you, hey, do you know how to find the radius if you're given the diameter? And hey, can you plug these into a formula for volume and solve and leave it in terms of pi? Okay. Okay, number 4. Which of the following is equivalent to the expression below? So if we look at this problem, we have two binomials. We're going to multiply these together. So let's go ahead and distribute. Some people like to use FOIL. I'm not a fan of FOIL because the moment you have a trinomial, FOIL doesn't work. So we think of it in terms of distribution. At least that's how I prefer it. P times P is P squared. P times positive 2 is 2P. Don't forget this negative sign here. Negative 4 times P is negative 4P. And negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Again, don't forget that negative sign when you're distributing. Let's combine our like terms, which is 2P and 4P. Or negative 4P. So P squared, and that's going to give us negative 2P minus 8. And that's this one right here. Let's see what they did here. I'm trying to think of what they would have done wrong. I'm not sure how they would have. I guess maybe they would have combined here. I'm just curious how, because usually the options they have that are not the answer, there's a reason why they choose those. All right, so let's look at number 5. Which of the following values of x is the solution to the equation below? Okay, so which can we plug these in and get the right answer? Let's find out. Let's plug in negative 4. So negative 4 squared equals 256. No, it doesn't. 16 does not equal 256. So that's out. Let's plug in negative 16. So negative 16 squared equals 256. I don't know what that is off the top of my head, so let's figure it out. I know it's gonna be a positive because negative times negative is positive. So 16 times 16. So 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 is 9. And then we're going to do 1 times 16 is 16. 6, carry down the 6. 15, carry the 1, 256. So yep, it's negative 16. So this one times 2, but we're not multiplying by 2. We're squaring it, so this would be way too big. And then this is half of that, so I guess they're thinking people would have divided it. So yeah, B. Just plug these in, and should give you the right answer. Number 6. So you can already tell these questions were just easier in general. Like, look how quickly we're going through these, and there's not a lot of multiple layers of thinking for these, whereas now the new MCAS is, I think, far more complicated overall. All right, number 6. A waiter received a 15% tip for a restaurant bill of $59.14. Which of the following estimates is closest to the tip the waiter received? So closest to means we're going to estimate, as it says. So we're going to keep it at 15%. We're going to change this to 60. So it's 0.15 times 60, because we're going to convert that to a decimal. So if we multiply these together, it should give us something very close to this. Let's find out. 60 times 0.15, or 15 hundredths. So 0, 100, 60, 9, 2 zeros. There should be 2 decimal spaces, so $9, which is C. Some quick mental math, what you could do is, 10% of 60 is 6, and 5% would be half of that. It would be 3, so 3 plus 6 is 9. So yeah, 9. Whenever it's kind of a cheap tip. I think you should do 20% personally. 15% is kind of cheap. For anybody that's worked in the service industry, I think you can appreciate that. 15% is far too low. Tip your waiters. All right, so number 7. The weight in pounds of 7 packages are listed below. We have these numbers here. The weight of an 8th package is added to the list. The mean weight of the 8 packages is 12. What is the weight of the mystery package? Okay, so remember, mean is the average. You add them all together, and you divide by how many numbers there are, or how many data points there are. So we have this plus a variable. So let's check this out. I'm going to write this all out. I'm going to say 25 plus 10 plus 20 plus 4 plus 6 plus 3 plus 9. And the mystery value we're going to call x. plus x. We're dividing that by 8, and that equals 12. We're told the average is 12. So we're just going to solve this algebraic equation. We're going to add these all together, and I already pre-added this. This would be, I'll do it over here so people can see how we did it. So 25, because you would not have a calculator for this. 25 plus 10 plus 20 plus 20 plus 4 plus 6 plus 3 plus 9. Let's add these all up. 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 6 is 15, plus 3 is 18, plus 9 is 27. Carry 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7, so 77. So we have 77 plus x over 8 equals 12. We're going to multiply both sides by 8. So obviously this would be when I'd want to do the scrap paper. And we're going to have 77 plus x equals 96. We're going to subtract the constant here, subtract 77 from both sides, and that should give us 19, I think. Yeah. There you go. Now another thing you could do too, let's say you forget how to solve this algebraically, or you're not comfortable with it or whatever. You could just do this trial and error. You could add these all together, add one of these, divide it by 8, and wait till you get 12. That would take longer, I think, but it is another way to do it in case you forgot how to do it that way. Number 8. Okay, we got point S is the midpoint of RT. The coordinates of R and T are listed below. What are the coordinates of point S? So we're trying to find the midpoint. The midpoint formula is as follows, for anybody that's forgotten. It's basically just the average of the 2 points. So x1 plus x2 over 2, and then y1 plus y2 over 2. So we're going to plug those in. We're going to call this x1 and y1, and this will be x2 and y2. So a negative 11 plus negative 7 over 2, and then negative 12 plus negative 4 over 2. Negative 11 plus negative 7 is negative 18 over 2 is negative 9. So we can already see it's probably going to be C unless I made a mistake. And then negative 12 plus negative 4 is negative 16. Negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. So yep, C. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. Put this page over here, I guess. Okay, number 9. We're moving right along. And you can see just the rate by which we can do these. Okay. Which of the following is equivalent to the expression below? So we have a binomial here, and then we have two pairs of binomials, and we see which one of these pairs of binomials would equal this. So we're just going to go ahead and multiply these and see which one we get. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 144 is negative 144x. Negative 1 times x is, this should be x squared, is negative 1x. And negative 1 times negative 144 is positive 144. Combine these together, we're going to get x squared minus 145x plus 144. So that's clearly not it. So A is out. B, we're going to go with x times x is x squared. I might write on a room here. We can do it. X times 144 is plus 144x. Negative 1 times x is negative x. And then negative 1 times 144 is negative 144. Combine these together, we're going to get x squared plus 143x minus 144. That's not this, so that's out. I'm going to continue this over here. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 12 is negative 12x. Negative 12 times x is negative 12x. And negative 12 times negative 12 is positive 144. Combine these together, we have x squared minus 24x plus 144. That is, again, that is not this. Has to be D, hopefully, unless I messed up. X times x is x squared. X times positive 12 is positive 12x. Negative 12 times x is negative 12x. And negative 12 times positive 12 is negative 144. Combine these together, they cancel. X squared minus 144. So that would be our answer. So it's D. So it takes a little while, but yeah, I think it's the best way to do it. Number 10. A rug in the shape of a square has an area of 33 square feet. Which of the following estimates is closest to the length of each side of the rug? Okay, so we have all these measurements, which are the sides of a square, right? And we know the area equals 33, and the area of a square is just s squared. So s squared equals 33. So we're looking for something that's going to be close to the square root of 33, if we simplify that, right? So 33 is going to be in between 5 and 6, right? Because 5 squared is 25, and 6 squared is 36. It's going to be closer to 6. So we can immediately cross these out because those are too big, right? It's going to be one of these. Now it's closer to 6, so you can actually estimate already. We already know it's going to be this because this is closer to 6 than it is to 5. But we can actually kind of show it with some decimals. So check this out. So 5 3/4 as a decimal is 5 75/100ths. Let's square that and see what we get. But we already know it's that. At least if we have some knowledge of square roots and area, we can kind of estimate that and know it's close to 36. Let's just try it though. So 5.75 or 5 75/100ths for all our place value nerds out there. Okay, so 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 2 is 7, it's 37. And 5 times 5 is 25 plus 3 is 28. 7 times 5 is going to be 35. 7 times 7 is 49, plus 3 is 52. And 7 times 5 is 35, plus 5 is 57. Did I screw that up? I think I screwed that up. Hold on, let's back this. I need more room. Let's screw that up. Let's do that over again. I apologize. Okay. 5.75, 5.75. I was going too fast there. So 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 2 is 37. And then 5 times 5 is 25, plus 3 is 28. Okay. Get rid of those. I'm going to do a different color so it doesn't meld together. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 7 is 49. 49 plus 3 is 52. That's right. No, I didn't screw up. Okay, never mind. I thought I screwed up earlier. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 5 is 40. There we go. Okay. And now we're going to do here. 5 times 5 is 25. It should be the exact same thing as this, actually. Yeah. Okay. So let's combine these. So 5, 12, carry the 1, 9, 11, 16, 3, 10, 12, 13. So it's 33.0625. So this is awfully close to 33. Again, it's an estimate, but yeah, this would be it right here. So 5 3/4. It's a lot easier when you don't have to do all this. If you can just estimate that, hey, this is square root of 33 is awfully close to square root of 36. This is awfully close to 6. Yeah. All right. Do we have time for one more? Yeah, we'll do one more. Yeah, we'll stop there. It's almost 20 minutes now. All right, number 11. Hold on. Zoom out a little more. Here we go. A set of data is shown in the scatter plot below. Which of the following equations best represents the line of best fit for the data in the scatter plot? Okay, so if I'm making a line of best fit here, it's going to look something like this. Something like that. Roughly. Okay? You'll notice I rotate the paper because it's easier to make a line if you're going up and down rather than across. For most people, at least. All right, what is the best equation for that? So we know the y-intercept has to be positive. So let's get rid of the equations that have a negative y-intercept. So that's out. That's out. Again, we just went from a 1 in 4 chance to 1 in 2 chance. We also know this has a positive rate of change. So this is out because it has a negative rate of change. Has to be this one. So we don't have to be super specific, but just by clearly knowing it has a positive rate of change and a positive y-intercept, we can find the answer that way because this is the only one with both. Okay, we're going to stop there. So that's number 11. We'll pick it up. Let's see, tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, I should be able to do some more of these tomorrow. Yeah, anyway. So we'll stop there. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.